Hello everybody, Sebastian Quintanilla here, once again bringing you another Age of Empires 2 interview. This time around I'm interviewing none other than Nili, and you should absolutely be familiar with who he is. He's a fantastic content creator, caster, as well as player. But today I won't be talking too much about his playtime, instead I will be talking to him about the other competitors in the competition, as well as what will be coming up later in the main event. So please, enjoy! Alright, so we are just after day one of the second qualifier for the Redbull Wololo 2, and you've been keeping on right now. You have managed to get into the top 32. Tomorrow you're going to be facing even more people, I believe top 64 actually, and you're going to be facing even more, challenging opponents. And I want to know, how happy are you of getting to this point right now?
More of like being relieved that I didn't fail, right? I think I should be the favorite in every single match, and that's kind of my minimum goal, to make it to the round of 32 that I'm now. So not really happy. It was just mainly playing games so far.
Right, and now you're going to be facing people that, you could call maybe a challenge, and from those people, do you think you're going to be going like 1, 2, 3 more rounds? Do you think you might be able to qualify from that, or what is your expectation for tomorrow?
Well, most likely case, next round is simply against Stark, right? We're in the round of 32. I think he's seat 10, I was seat 23, so he is the solid favorite. Something like 75-25 for him feels very realistic. So in most cases, I'm out after the next best of 5.
Nice. And from there,
nice.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, it's just a thing that I always say nice after every answer. I'm just waiting to get called out on it. Okay. So one of the topics that I also wanted to touch on was the dominance of Vikings. T90 was actually talking about this on his stream just a few moments ago, that like he kind of feels like maybe Vikings needed some sort of adjustment. And from what I've seen the drafts and seeing, the games themselves, Vikings are pretty strong. At least in Empires at War, Empires Wars, they seem to be really strong. And I want to know, do you have any ideas? What's a good way that as a player you can combat a Vikings pick without, just resorting to sniping them on the draft or picking them yourself, right?
Yeah, I just yesterday prepared a video for Redbull, like going through the strongest civilizations, and Vikings had 87% win rate in Redbull Wololo 1 main event. They're clearly the strongest civilization. Yeah, maybe there could have been something that Forgotten Empires could have done when it came to balance changes, right? We moved the 3 villages for Chinese, 1 for Mayans, for example. I think Vikings simply is the strongest civilization and should be sniped.
Right. I mean, funnily enough, I grab stats for my own thing of Qualifier 1 that I'm going to be mixing with Qualifier 2 after this weekend. And from 11 times that Vikings were picked, they were sniped 5 times, and they still won all their 5 appearances. Like they had they weren't played once. I don't know why, but they won every single one of those. And if I add one more question from the ones that I sent you, it's actually about Slavs. Slavs were never sniped, but they were picked just as much as Vikings, and they still won over 70% of their games. So I want to know, like, what is your reaction, and if you have any ideas as to why we might have seen that from the stats, at least for the first qualifier, and yet to know about this one.
Slavs is a very interesting one. If we look at the stats, Redbull Wololo 1, Slavs wasn't played that often, and now it's played a lot of times, and that also surprised me a bit. Slavs, obviously, having free supplies allows them to have an early attack, and you have the good food economy for later on. Plus, if you want to go for the Castle Age push, cheaper siege helps out. So they have a lot of stuff going for them, but it's kind of weird because I put them in my top 5 for Red Bull, but only looking through the stats, like naturally, they didn't feel like a top 5 civilization for me, and I think they might be picked less often in the main event than in the qualifiers.
Nice, great. Well, it will be certainly fun to see if that's the case, to kind of find out what might be happening there in that nebulous zone of picking and sniping. And so from there, I want to ask you about the matchups tomorrow in general for the qualifier. Are there any matches that you're thinking to yourself right now? I believe you're going to be streaming a couple of them, right?
Nope.
Oh, all right.
I won't stream at all.
Oh, right. But are you going to try to, if you get eliminated, are you going to try to watch any other matches that are going to be going on? Are there any that is that kind of calls to you to check out and see how that goes down?
I think only as a teammate favor, right? Let's say the Max goes through and T faces Tato in the first round of the main event, then I'd watch probably over the Max Rex and see if I can see something that Tato missed as preparation.
Nice. Are you going to be trying to help a lot of the, well, now former Team Secret, but still together group that you guys have, or it just started? Oh, everybody. Nice. Awesome. So
yeah, that's kind of where I see my role in the team as well.
Nice. That's great. And then I want to ask you then, from the people that you've seen so far in this qualifying, who do you think might be getting through to the end and getting that ticket to the main event?
There's only one clear favorite at the moment, and that's the Max, in my opinion. I think he will probably 3-0, maybe even 4-0. Like, that looks really strong, and everything else looks really shaky. Slam didn't look great. Vivi is weak on those settings. I don't see Fire Miguel dominating. ACCM, should probably go through. If I have to give you 4, it's probably the Easy, the Max, and then we'll go for Slam, ACCM, Fire. But it's not super unlikely that someone like Vivi or Miguel can make it as well.
Right. And then the kind of other side of the question is, who have you seen in the qualifier so far that has maybe exceeded expectations? And this can be this qualifier as well as last week's, like somebody who you didn't really think could get that far, or that has kind of impressed in their place, if you've seen any like that.
I think Spring performed better than I expected, right? He didn't go far, but he had 2-3-2 results going down there. I naturally think that those settings shouldn't really be that great for him, but yeah, I like to be wrong in some cases. So I think he had a strong performance, and nothing else really comes to mind to me at the moment.
Nice, great. And final question here. Who do you see as a dark horse for the main event? Somebody that, maybe people are not taking notice of them, and they could eventually, get through a couple of rounds and maybe reach semifinals or something around that level.
Lan. I think he was, and a lot of people hate me for that answer. They kind of want to hear that the craziest upset and the sickest storyline was Yo beating Viper in the final. But for me, it felt how well Lan played there. And obviously, now it's easy to say in hindsight, but Lan gave Yo a better run for his money than the Viper did, for obvious reasons that we talked about a lot of times. But if we have to name someone that not a lot of people would see in the top 4, I think Lan is a guy that I can give a solid 10% making into the semis.
Nice, fantastic. And so, thank you so much for your time, Nili. It's amazing talking with you for this event, and I really look forward to your matches tomorrow, as well as your casting for the main event.
Thanks, my man.
See you around. And so that is the end of this interview. Thank you so much for taking the time to listening to it. If you want to find more about Nili or myself, you can check the description below. But other than that, thank you so much for your time. Have an excellent day.